Hi, this is MXUX. I'm just doing a follow-up to the last video, and we're going to just go over the presentation here of the Q2 21 earnings call from Lordstown Motors. Here's the presentation deck. Going to take a look at this, and there's some videos. You know, real people, real trucks. I said this in one of my videos. They stole it from me. Real people building real trucks for real people, not real plant. Anyway. Angela Strand is the, temporary 5-month CEO. Here's the thing. She used to work for Burns when Burns was at Workhorse, so she is a Burns acolyte. So I think we're all missing that, and I think it's something that might be important. I'm going to try to keep this going because everybody said my last video was too long. Anyway, here she is, and again, she was with Burns at Workhorse, and she is with Nuvi, which is a charging company that does V2G, which I am suspecting Lordstown is going to implement. And I just want to mention something that was said during this call, and I have notes on the call I'm going to go over maybe in another video, but they said they're going to hold back this. I believe that this, I've been going over these dates and everything. It's kind of hard to figure out, but the point is, I think they're holding up their release. I think they plan to do the final release to customers sooner. And anyway, the point is, this is what was said during the call. Our customers have told us that they need more time to put in place their charging infrastructure. Now, this means this is two different things. Number one, I think Nuvi is going to be involved with their partner, and they're going to put these charging systems in. I think they're going to be vehicle to grid. That's just me talking. Number two, they said their customers have told us, our customers have told us that they need more time to install the charging infrastructure. So you can imply from that, they aren't just installing 3 chargers to test out the vehicles. It sounds to me like they're going to put a bunch of, these are going to be big installations. Why else would they need more time to do it? And anyway, you got Rick Schmidt here, and I just want to say Rick Schmidt reiterated and was shut up and said, we got the first 2 years of production sold. I like Rick Schmidt. He is a real crackerjack. Anyway, Angela Strand, a Burns acolyte. Okay. The other guy, and I'm going to try to pull up this bio I have on Daryl Post. Daryl Post, in an interview, he said, this is the development of the Workhorse, of the Lordstown Endurance skateboard. He said, this is the biggest innovation in transportation since the invention of the automobile. But anyway, this guy is a super heavyweight. If you, I'm going to try to pull up this bio. I don't know how many car programs he has been involved in, and how many that he has, I think he did 5 different cars. Anyway, very big heavyweight. Sorry about that screen change there. Now, they got strategic priorities here. Recognize the inherent value of our technology. Okay, they have got, I think they're talking here about the hub motors. Okay, and we're going to see later, they're going to do variations on that. Full value of our factory and campus. Okay, they are using 30%. Okay, they're pulling out all the stops to raise money and do other things. They're talking about, the thing was rent out part of the factory. I don't think that's the right way to put it. And that is something Burns did not want to do, but I have an idea for that, and that is, let me just say it right now. There's one company I think that is ideal that could put their manufacturing facility at Lordstown. It would make perfect sense. That's Atera. And a lot of people call it Aptera. It's actually Atera. I've done a number of videos on it. It's a aerodynamic two-person EV. Uses Elafi hub motors, which they are licensed to manufacture in the United States at this plant, so that's a perfect fit. It doesn't need the paint shop per se that Lordstown is using. It can have a much simpler paint shop. The stamping presses it does not need. It uses a type of molding, and they've got the distribution through the rail lines and the highways here. And I think this would be a real good fit. It would complement Lordstown rather than conflict with Lordstown. And it's also another innovative technology, and they use the same motors. But the point is, Sandy Burns is real big in Atera. I believe he's invested $100,000 at least in Atera. And Sandy Monroe, excuse me, Sandy Monroe, Monroe Live, would be hanging out at Lordstown. And he's been real hush about everything. But that's my 2 cents on that. And expanding new revenue streams. Now, here's the thing. They're talking about licensing out the skateboard, contract manufacturing. These are all things that Steve Burns did not want to do. And I know they need to raise capital and everything. And, they're going to do what they have to do. I mean, let's face it. But I think personally they should not license. They should keep this exclusive to Lordstown. Although, Tesla in the early days, they did build motors for Toyota, so whatever. But they're talking about, selling skateboards, perhaps manufacturing vehicles for another partner, so on and so forth. These are all things, they're spitballing. Intelligently wrapping production of the Endurance. So they have slowed down the breakneck pace of this a little bit, in my opinion. Again, I went through the dates. It's very confusing to know exactly, to pin down all these dates. It's basically the same. It's just a little slower in the release to the final customers. And again, they said that was for the charging. Maybe it is the charging. I think it's probably they're kind of going a step at a time depending on the funding. And they're looking to raise capital, obviously. I just want to say about raising capital. Get used to it. Tesla raised capital forever. Okay, until, till the Model 3, till after the Model 3, probably. So you can expect them to have to raise capital in an ongoing basis, for the next year, 2 years, whatever. I don't know when profitability is going to hit, although I think their profitability is going to hit much quicker than Tesla did because the industry is more mature and the product is simpler. It's a lot of reasons. Now, here's the other thing. This is new, and this is what comes when you manufacture a product. They're already innovating, okay? They have the manufacturing there, and they're already talking about making new motor designs, making more varied models of the motors, and so forth. So this is really great, and this is what happens when you have manufacturing in the United States. This is why we have to have manufacturing in the United States. This is new technology. This is fantastic. So they're already, they just got the line in. They're already talking about making more motors, making different sizes of motors. Who knows, what their plans are. But this is the innovation that can only happen when you are manufacturing, products. This is what happens. Anyway, now, this is the campus. They're talking about they use 30% of this campus, okay? And, what's 30%? This is 50, And this is 20. So let's just do a graphic representation. They're using this much. Okay. Something like that. All right. The rest of this they're not using. So they're talking about, okay, they do have the tier 1, 2, and 3 suppliers. They have the rail. They have the highly trained local workforce, which everybody's overlooking as well, these people that live in this area. Okay. They want to endurance and partners. So they're talking about bringing in a partner. Now, I mentioned earlier Aterra, and I think Aterra is the perfect partner to start this if they want to do it. Burns, again, was against this. Um, it would be nice to be able to keep the powder dry, because who knows what the future may hold. They may want to put 10 more lines in, passenger cars. The SUV has always been on the drawing board for Lordstown. And now that they have the van, the SUV is just one step up from that, and they have the hard tooling and everything in place for the van. So, and they're not talking about the van. They're sticking to their knitting, and they're only talking about the endurance. But anyway, moving on. They're talking about things they didn't talk about before. Delivery trucks is something they really didn't talk about. I don't know if that's more van. The military programs were whispered about here. It's right out in black and white. That's got to mean something. And they're talking about licensing the hub motor technology and so forth and their skateboard technology. Um, you know, as I said, Tesla's not licensing anything. I don't know if that's a good idea. I mean, obviously they have to do what they have to do. It's a moneymaker. But the thing is, to keep this exclusive to Lordstown, because it's such a dramatic improvement over the status quo and a unique selling point. But anyway, so they're talking about the licensing. So this is new. These three actually are new. Um, and again, okay, that's the cat that lives here. Okay, Q4. All right, Bubba. Q4 early production units. That's again, that is what they said they were going to do. That's like September validation. Okay, now this is the difference. This is kind of pushed forward. Selected early customers. Okay, in my opinion, it's pushed forward. This calendar is very hard to understand, and basing on what they said previously, it's like a moving target. Anyway, so this is September. I'll just put an S there, and then, and this is the start of production, SOP. So this is SOP. This is what they said they were going to do. Deployment into selected early customers. Now, this is a little different, okay? And again, this is where they talked about, then they said commercial deliveries after that. This is what they're talking about. The customers need time to install charging, and that's what they implied the slowdown was going to be, that the customers had to install infrastructure to support the trucks. So that implies a large number of sales. That implies a large infrastructure needs to be installed. Anyway, take from that what you will. And again, they're going to be raising money for years. So, every time they need money, these car companies, it's always $500 million. So they got the stock deal for $400 million. They're talking about full-scale commercial production and achieve prosperity. Anyway, the point is that they're going to need money all the time. I mean, this is how these startups are. Until you get this big flywheel going and the sales meet the production line and you start doing mass production, you're not going to be profitable until you hit that point. So they're talking to, this is like private strategic investments, possible partners. I don't know. They were alluding to all this stuff. And debt, they're talking about getting a reappraisal of the factory, which I think is a good idea because they've done a lot of upgrades. It's a state-of-the-art EV manufacturing facility. I mean, it's worth a lot more money. Anyway, that's what they're doing. Again, now here's the hub motor, and this is I think this is the mold, perhaps, that's putting the outside covering, which I think is an epoxy over the stator. And this is Rick Schmidt, who's, again, a real heavyweight. I like him. And Darren Post, again, there are a lot of really, Steve Burns put together a really good team here. I got to tell you, these people that call this, this Lordstown Motors stuff, I'm really getting tired of it. These are a bunch of chowderheads. They haven't even, you look at Darren Post, I'm going to call up his resume. Fraudstown, as if this guy would be involved in a fraud. This guy is a luminary. Anyway, this is, they're doing the crash testing. They did decide in the front. Now, I don't know about this. I went through the website, and it's in the last video. They have listed the rollover crash test result was a 4, not a 5. I don't know. Maybe they're going to redo it, or maybe that's bad information. But they got 2 5s, so they're going for 3. Anyway, you got to realize these guys have done this in 10 months. Okay? 10 months. Okay? That's why everybody's can't believe it, but they did it because they know what the hell they're doing. Their retooling basically is done. They said they're putting in the hard tools. They had soft tools. I'm not an engineer. This is related to stamping parts, I believe, and putting together the stamping dies. And some dies are, the early prototype dies are softer metal, and then the actual production dies have to be really hard because they're going to make millions of parts. Anyway, this is a great shot of the endurance skateboard. Look how simple that thing is. Wow. And they're building everything in house, just like Tesla: battery, motor, frame, everything. So they don't have to deal with that kind of stuff. So the plant retooling is on schedule. There's really, it's getting kind of boring, these conference calls, because there's not much more to talk about anymore. And again, this is now. I just did a comment on the Hindenburg report. And you remember Hindenburg, they have insurmountable production hurdles. They won't be able to reach production. Okay, this just, if one thing's a lie, everything's a lie. Anyway, this is Hindenburg. What's a Latin saying? I forget. Hindenburg. Well, they're not going to be able to build it. They can't. They have insurmountable. This is the short report. Hindenburg, insurmountable production problems. They'll never. Yeah, they're making the entire thing. Battery packs, hub motors, in-house, paint, sub-assembly, stamping, frame. Everything's done in-house. So much for a Hindenburg report. Okay, now the hub motor. They talked a lot about the hub motor. They, as I said, they're already innovating with the hub motors. Okay, and they may develop new models based on the Elafe original design and license those out. That may be what they're talking about. And they're talking about, I think they're going to have a motor upgrade option for the endurance as well. But again, they're talking a lot about this. They're doing it. Once you start manufacturing, this is what happens. This is why you have to have manufacturing in the United States. These innovations do not take place on a drawing board or a computer screen. Okay, these are videos here. And again, now they're talking, this is the Lordstown Endurance skateboard with the hub motors, and you can see how elegant and simple that is. Excuse me. They're talking about possibly licensing or selling this skateboard separately. Again, I think they had to, for branding purposes, they had to keep it exclusive. But again, Tesla sold motors to Toyota, but I really think they have something here, and it's uh, it's their USP anyway. Whatever, they may be licensing this out. I mean, they're going to do what they have to do to survive it. All right, and maybe selling this skateboard to Fisker. Letting them put a body on it is okay. I don't know. And this is the financial report. I'm not an accountant. I actually used to know about this stuff and be able to work with it and do math. I just can't. I don't know what's happened to me. I'm bored of it all. Anyway, I just have highlighted a few things. The administrative expenses have doubled. That's because they're hiring people, because they're ramping up the production. Okay? Good increase. R&D is down. Okay? That's because they're locking everything in. And operating costs are going up a little bit. That's because they're, finishing the retooling of the line. Anyway, their loss from operations is a little higher, but I think this is all good. I'll just say that. Good. Now, the net loss is lower than it was, which is good. And this may go down a little bit more, but we'll see how these go up. But the R&D is definitely going to go down. And here's the figures, but this is still higher than what the analysts wanted. But I don't think the analysts know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, I wouldn't pay attention to CNBC or any analyst on this. You have to do your own analysis on this. These guys don't have any idea what's going on with this company. They've been moving at light speed and the speed of thought, as Sandy Munro says. And these people in the media and they just cannot keep up with this. I can't keep up with it. So anyway, we're looking at 365 cash. So they have cash on hand. They have the line of equity. I think they estimated at the present burn rate, and I have this in my notes. It'll be in another part of this. I think they're estimating 50 million. I was commenting on one of keep bringing up Q's views. Shout out Q's views. I keep bringing them up. Anyway, the point is, Tesla was 3 months away from going bankrupt when they were going to run out of money when they were putting out the Model 3. This is what it takes in America to do this. We can expect them to run their cash all the way down. Now, they have this line of credit and these other things, so they're actually probably in maybe a little better shape than Tesla was. No, I don't know. Tesla could have borrowed money. But anyway, the point is, you can expect them to run down all their cash and need to raise money. And they're going to have to get this thing up and running. And I think, the fleet, but you see, they're not going to have the first, they're basically going to come out, they're not going to have the first starter advantage. The F-150 is going to come out, the Lightning is going to come out about the same time, the Cybertruck is supposed to come out at about the same time. I think this truck is hand over fist better than the Ford Lightning, the fleet model. I mean, any fleet guy, any accountant that's working with a fleet, he's got a spreadsheet. All he's got to do is tick the numbers down and look at maintenance and look at battery efficiency and look at all these things. And I do believe it's going to be the preferential choice for the fleet manager. And consumers, consumers are a different story because maybe they don't look that deeply into it. But I do believe if they get this up and running, because of the construction and design, if they so wanted to, and if they can, I think they can lower the price on this vehicle for consumers. Okay. Or they can add more features and functions. I have a video on the Trumbull model of the uh, Endurance, which would have more features. But anyway, so they've got a lot of room to play with. So anyway, that's it. There is the military vehicle, which is getting a lot more attention. And I would add that Steve Burns, when he was at Workhorse, and you know how everybody's doing these flying taxis now and everything. Steve Burns invented that, 10 years ago or whatever, more than that. And he sold it. Well, Workhorse ended up selling it to a conglomerate who is developing it for military applications. So there is some history of kind of a sideways history of military applications of Steve Burns' technology, and this would be the second one. They're going to use that other drone. Well, they're going to either have it manned or have it be a drone and deliver medical supplies and other supplies to frontline troops. It's a very cool thing he developed. It's got folding arms on it. The idea was this is like a personal flying car. This is what Burns invented back in the day, 10 years ago. The arms fold down. You could put it in a garage. It'll fit in a normal garage. It's got autopilot in it. You just kind of push a button and enter the location you want to go to, and it flies you there, Anyway, so let's just go through the summary. The technology, they are really brought up the hub motors a lot. The campus, they talked about utilizing it. They're only using 30%, so 70% is open. They're talking about bringing in partners. I think Aptera, let's put an A there, or Atera. You can look that up. I have many videos on Atera. I'm a big fan. I have an order in on an Atera. It's a great vehicle. Market opportunities, again, they're talking about this military and some other things that weren't in previous presentations. Okay, this is something they're making a point of too. Limited production. They've kind of slowed down the breakneck pace a little bit. I think part of it is they don't want to, let me put it to you this way. They've got a female CFO and a female CEO, and I'm not bashing women. Women are generally more conservative than men, and men tend to be more swashbuckling. I think that's part of it, but I don't know that this is a bad thing. They're not going to launch all to themselves now, but I mean, everything's subject to change. Who knows? Maybe Ford and Cybertruck won't make it, and the capital raise too, which is going to be ongoing. Get used to it. It's never going to end. And again, I had mentioned in my last piece, they got California is staked out as ground zero for their launch, and they are going to build a service center there, and this is going to be it. Orange County, that's going to be the start, and then Texas is going to be next. Ohio's manufacturing, and Michigan is design. And nobody's talking about this, but they have a workforce there in Ohio that absolutely has already worked at this plant, that they know how to build cars, and they're right there. I mean, they are not going to have any trouble finding experienced help to put this thing together, and I think it's great all the way around. Anyway, I'm trying to get to a video here to close this segment out. Where is that? Click here. Anyway, the earnings call was kind of boring. I have more notes. I'm either going to do another video on it or another section to this video. Let's see if, oh, well, that's not working. Anyway, that's it, guys. I hope you like this. This is just a quickie, and basically, to summarize the earnings call, no big surprises. There's one thing I want to mention, though. The one thing that's really screwing up their balance sheet and their cash reserves and being a thorn in their side is this SEC investigation. Their legal costs are, I forget, I don't think it's broken out in this spreadsheet. I think it's 13 million this quarter. So the SEC is bleeding them dry. Okay. And you can watch my last video on this. This is just something they're going to have to contend with. It could last a long time. So anyway, there you go. There's that beautiful hub motor. This is the key to everything. Anyway, yeah, the SEC, that's, let's do the takeaways. Maybe licensing their technology. Maybe bringing in people to work in the other companies to use the plant, utilize the plant. Maybe licensing or selling the skateboard to other manufacturers. In other words, they pulled out all the stops as far as raising money. The SOP is on track. Everything else is on track. The cash is about where everybody expected it to be. And the start of production, they're going to make it. They're going to make it. The rollout is going to be a little bit slower. But again, according to the call, the customers need time to build their charging infrastructure, which implies they ain't putting in 3 chargers to put in 3 test units. Rick Schmidt, and they said during the call, we are confident. I can't. They're being very guarded because of the SEC. We are confident that, I believe it's the first 2 years of production are sold. So, I mean, this, I'm doing a price prediction on this. I did some work on the PE last time, and the PE I came up with is 1.9 right now. So, well, let's just do it right now. So you got 1.9, right? So let's say 2 is the PE. 11 to 15 is the normal. So let's say 12. So that's PE of 12. Let's say 12 is the PE. It's kind of a little conservative. Times the present price of, so you got $6 a share, and they're going to go up it's 2, and let's see, into 12. That's 6 times what we've got now as far as the price per share. So we're looking at $35, $36 a share. Let me put that out there. That's my back of the napkin. Anyway, all the stars align. Everything gets rolling. That's my price prediction. All right, this is MXUX. Thanks for watching. Hi, this is MXUX. I'm just closing this out. Please do not, Finn, and I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Do your own DD. Just in way of summary, pretty boring, flat earnings call. I've noted some of the more interesting things here, which is all good. And I have some more detailed notes. I'm probably going to do another video on it, but everybody was hollering. The last video was too long. So I'm just going to wrap this up. Thanks for watching. Guys, if you enjoy this, I hate to ask for people to do the like and the subscribe thing if you like it. Anyway, thanks a lot. That's the end of it. And good luck in the market.